So, we're going over all the indie horror breakouts. Not all of them are horror games. 2 games on the list, 3 games on the list are not considered horror games. Fortnite, Undertale, and Cuphead. All 3 of these games are considered indie breakouts, which I'm going to call them now. These list of 9 games, became very popular over very quick short amount of time. An indie breakout must have 3 things. It must have a really bad fan base, or a pretty dedicated fan base. That's the reason why Doki Doki Literature Club and Telltale are on the list. Number 2, they must have gone popular within a day. So games like Telltale and Baldi's Basics are spread like that. All these games are spread really fast, like most of the times do. There are some notable omissions off the list, like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and Minecraft. Minecraft took days to become popular, and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds did become popular in like a few days as well. But it's not really popular anymore. Same thing with Minecraft. But these 9 games have a bad fan base, and they all must have a bad fan base. Yes, Hello Neighbor and Doki Doki Literature Club do have very bad fan bases. And they all have to cross over with each other, which could omit Fortnite, but most of these games kind of cross over into each other's territories. Like, there's this one indie game that someone made of all of these characters in it, with the exception of Fortnite characters, because Fortnite has no characters. We're going down from over the most popular to least popular. Number 1, Fortnite. Fortnite is easily the most popular game in the world at this current moment. It has 70 million plus players, which it doesn't deserve. But the reason why it's included here, because as I found out a few days ago, Fortnite was an indie game. Yes, it's actually an indie game that became popular. Next is FNAF. FNAF is the most viewed Markiplier video and SMT4 videos to date, have to do with Five Nights at Freddy's and game theory. No other series has gone nearly as FNAF actually started the trend of indie horror, crappy indie games becoming popular. So you can kind of blame FNAF for doing this. Next is Undertale. Undertale is this game that became popular literally in one day after it came out. I actually still don't know how Undertale became popular. I know how FNAF and Doki Doki became popular, but Undertale? I still don't know how it became popular. It has made such... Undertale's fanbase is obviously the worst of them all besides Fortnite. Next is Bendy. Bendy's just a episodic version of Five Nights at Freddy's. Moving on. Hello Neighbor. Hello Neighbor is still liked by people, which is surprising since Hello Neighbor is a really crappy horror game that isn't really horror at all. The guy pops up at your face if you lose to him. And it's really all you do is go into this guy's house and find this thing in his house. And they're actually making a sequel to Hello Neighbor called Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek. Oh my god. Why are they making a sequel to Hello Neighbor? Next is Cuphead. Cuphead is just... It's actually the most enjoyable game on the list. Yes, Cuphead is pretty hard, and it's just its fan base, it's annoying. You can't sexualize freaking cups, okay? Next is Doki Doki Literature Club. Every weeb's fantasy! People only like this because of the storyline, that's all. It's really not a game. You just click the screen over and over again like Telltale's games. I don't know why people think this game has a good story, but there's no gameplay. Telltale's games have more gameplay than Doki Doki. Next is Baldi's Basics. Baldi's Basics is second to bottom because it's the most recent game here, like Doki Doki. Baldi's Basics is really you running away from a freaking teacher because you got one math problem wrong. This game is the worst game. It's probably the most poorly developed of them all. Yes, even more or less than Doki Doki. At least people who made Doki Doki took time in making the game, but Baldi's Basics, the game was really made within a week. Telltale. Completely forgotten, but it was an indie horror breakout because it did become popular like Five Nights at Freddy's. But it really does consider an inferior version of Five Nights at Freddy's. Now we're going over them in order from worst to best. The worst. Baldi's Basics. Quite easily one of the worst games ever in history I have played. Baldi's Basics is literally, fundamentally, a awful horror game. If you thought FNAF was an awful horror game, You haven't played Baldi's Basics. It has been popular on the channels Yo Mama and Animation Rewind and practically every major YouTube channel for a week. Baldi's Basics is just a bad game. It's just easily one of the worst games in the entire universe. I don't know how this game became popular. There's literally no memorable characters probably besides Baldi himself. Next is Tattletale. Tattletale is just bad, okay? Tattletale is not even that great of a game, okay? No, none of these games are good, but Tattletale is just completely bad, okay? It's an incomplete game that was released, and it's basically the simplest game on the list. You basically, find this Furby. Why isn't this game taken down yet? Can you please answer me why is this popular? It's just freaking Furbies. Next is number 7. Fortnite. Ugh. Yes, Fortnite. Fortnite's easily a bad game, okay? I don't know why people are obsessed with the Battle Royale genre as a whole. Fortnite's the most overrated game ever made. I made a video with a deleted called Why Undertale is the most overrated game, and now it's still the most overrated game. I deleted it because now Fortnite exists. Fortnite is barely a game. It's actually more of a game than Doki Doki Literature Club. But Fortnite is just bad. You can't find anyone wherever you go. You have to... It's a battle royale game, so it's 100 players. So, it's gonna have a small map like Halo. 100 people fighting each other. That's not... It's a gigantic open world game where you have to search for miles to find open world people. And you're more likely to die by the freaking barrier than die by someone else. Moving on, number 6, Doki Doki Literature Club. This game already gave me cancer, okay? Doki Doki Literature Club is barely a game, okay? You literally click on the screen over and over and over again to see what the girls do. There's only like 2 mini games that is considered gameplay. But at least it has characters that people can actually like, unlike Baldi's Basics, Fortnite, and Tattletale. At least there's a reason people would actually like this game. Other than, Fortnite's so cool, you can win out of 100 people. Yeah, Fortnite's cancer. Number 5, Hello Neighbor. Why does this game even exist? Hello Neighbor is quite easily one of the worst games ever made, okay? Hello Neighbor has no characters. Why did I place Doki Doki Literature Club under Hello Neighbor? That's the simple fact, because Hello Neighbor... Because Doki Doki is not really a game. Tattletale has garbage characters. That's because a lot of people already don't like Hello Neighbor. But there are still some purists who say Hello Neighbor is a good game. No, Hello Neighbor is not a good game. Sorry. Number 4. This is going to be the hardest one. But I got to put Five Nights at Freddy's at 4. Why? Because Five Nights at Freddy's started the entire trend of horror indie breakouts. Five Nights at Freddy's is barely a game. Five Nights at Freddy's is basically you hiring some security office and make sure the animatronics don't scare you. That's really the entire game, and people are trying to find this hidden meaning with Five Nights at Freddy's. They think of Doki Doki Literature Club. Number 3, Bendy. Bendy is just completely garbage, okay? It's another episode game. Episode games completely suck. I don't know why people even played Bendy. But Bendy just completely stinks, okay? Why is this game even existing? It's basically FNAF, but an episodic game. Number 2, Undertale. Undertale is actually the most developed game second most developed. It's actually one of the more developed games on the list. Undertale at least has characters you can connect to, characters that you can like, characters that you can feel for, unlike the rest of these games. And possibly Doki Doki. But Undertale has characters they can actually like, characters that do stuff. A story, a plot, something that most of these indie breakouts barely have. And number 1, Cuphead. Cuphead's easily the most complete of these games. But Undertale has unique gameplay. But Cuphead isn't actually that bad. Cuphead is actually very hard. But Cuphead has memorable characters, memorable storylines, a unique premise, a unique art style, unique characters. They are not one-dimensional, branded, boring characters. It has a unique style. It has its own style. The only real bad thing about Cuphead is its awful fan base, which kind of ruined the game for most people. So Cuphead's actually the best game on the list if you really think about it, because Cuphead has characters that you can actually connect to, like Undertale. There's actual characters in Cuphead, unlike Five Nights at Freddy's, where you really have to survive in a freaking thing waiting for animatronics to scare you, and Bendy has really no story whatsoever. So, that's basically all these whole breakouts, indie horror breakouts, as I call them, ranked. And really, most of these games, some of these games are really bad games that become popular, and it's pretty sad that some actually good games flop in. But then you have to be reminded that Fortnite's the most popular game in the entire world. And you'll realize that your life is basically a bunch of wasted, as there's many better games, especially on the Xbox One, than freaking Fortnite and freaking Bendy. Yeah, Bendy's coming to the Xbox One too. Next, we're gonna have Five Nights at Freddy's, the Xbox One edition. And then we're gonna have Doki Doki Literature Club Xbox One edition as well, and Baldi's Basics Xbox One edition. That will be the day when I die, when Baldi's Basics comes to the Xbox One. So that is all the indie breakouts actually ranked from worst to best. Some of these games are not actually that bad of a game, but some of these games are just completely awful, like Baldi's Basics.